Hi and welcome to my YouTube channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be crocheting an emotional support pickle, just like this little guy right here. I actually got asked to make this pickle for a friend and I had never even heard of an emotional support pickle until then, but how cute is it? Oh my goodness. I just love it so much. I think it is the cutest thing. So yeah, as soon as I finished making this emotional support pickle, I just fell in love with it and decided I wanted to make one for myself. So today I'm going to be bringing you guys along as I make another one of these little pickles, and I will also be sharing the pattern that I wrote for it throughout this video. So if you want to make your own emotional support pickle, then just follow the pattern instructions that I will be including somewhere here on screen as I crochet this pickle. Anyways, that's it for my intro. So now let's start making another little pickle. Okay, so the yarn that I'm going to be using for making this pickle is this yarn right here, but I already took off the label, so I don't remember the name of the yarn or what size it is. I feel like it's like a size 4 maybe, but anyways, I'm going to include the details somewhere here on screen. And then I'm going to be using a size 2.5mm hook. So a pretty small hook. This size hook with this size yarn works up pretty tightly, but that's what I like for my amigurumis. I like them to be like really tight. I just feel like it looks really nice in the end when I do it that way. So anyways, the first thing I'm going to do is make my magic ring. Then I'm going to start the first round. So for round 1, I have to crochet 6 single crochet stitches into the magic ring. Okay, so I now have 6 single crochet stitches into my magic ring, and I now have to close this little loop circle thing right here, but I want to show you guys because this part's always so satisfying, so I feel like it might be fun to see. So I'm just going to pinch my first stitch here, and I'm going to take the tail yarn and I'm going to pull it until this little loop circle thing closes. Oh my god, it's so satisfying. I always love doing that part. Okay, so now I'm going to start round 2. So for round 2, I'm going to increase into every single stitch in the round. So I'm gonna insert my hook and crochet the first stitch. And then I'm going to place my stitch marker into my first stitch here, and I'm just gonna show you what my stitch marker is. It is not a typical stitch marker. I'm using a bobby pin because I have a tendency to lose my stitch markers, and it just makes me sad when I lose like proper stitch markers because they're just so pretty and like colorful and fun, so I get sad when I lose them all and I feel bad about it. So I switched over to using bobby pins because when I buy I just buy like a really big pack of them, so I have so many, so if I lose them I don't feel as bad. And I honestly like the way that they work, if that makes sense. Like with the other stitch markers that I use, I normally have to like pop it open or like kind of and then clip it onto the stitch. But with the bobby pins, I literally just slide it onto the stitch. So I've just kind of gotten used to using bobby pins, so now I've literally just gotten to a point where I prefer it over using a regular stitch marker. What did I do? 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, so at the end of round 2, I'm gonna have 12 stitches. Now I'm going to be starting round 3, and for round 3, I'm going to be crocheting 1 single crochet, 1 increase, and I'm gonna be doing that a total of 6 times in the round. I can already tell that my hands are getting like a little sore and tired from crocheting. I just always find that like when I crochet amigurumis, it hurts my hands more because I like to crochet with really small hooks compared to my yarn, so everything's just really tight. And I also crochet with I make my amigurumis with cotton yarn or like a cotton blend yarn, which is like a little bit more stiff and harder to work with, so it's always like kind of hard on my hands. But I just, you know, it's fine. I don't crochet amigurumis as often anymore, but when I used to, like all I used to crochet was amigurumis when I first started crocheting. And oh my gosh, my hands hurt so bad back then, but I just kept crocheting through the pain because I didn't want to stop. But yeah, I'm starting to feel that pain a little bit right now, but it's okay. Okay, so now I'm starting round 4. And for round 4, I'm going to crochet 2 single crochet stitches, 1 increase, a total of 6 times in the round. So I just want to show you real quick. So if you look in the center of my little circle thing here, there's a hole in the center. So when I closed the little loop, it closed like the majority of the hole in the center, but now there's still like a little hole left. So now I'm just going to take my tail yarn and pull on it really tight until that hole really closes. Oh my gosh. This part always makes me like a little anxious because sometimes when I do this with more delicate yarn, when I pull really hard on it, it snaps off. But this yarn's pretty sturdy, so it didn't break on me. Okay, and if you look now, the hole is fully gone and closed. Okay, so now I'm starting round 5. So for round 5, I'm going to be crocheting 3 single crochets and 1 increase, a total of 6 times in the round. I also want to quickly mention that I think I'm going to also be listing this emotional support pickle pattern on my Etsy store as well as a PDF pattern that you can purchase. I'm only gonna sell it for like a really low price since I'm literally giving it to you guys for free in this video. But if you prefer a PDF pattern, I will have it available on my store if you guys wanna buy it and use that instead. But yeah, I think I'm gonna probably just list it for like $1.50. So yeah. Just want to let you guys know if that's something you're interested in, but obviously you don't have to buy the PDF version of this pattern since I'm giving it to you guys for free in this video here. But if you want the convenience of a PDF, that's available as well. Okay, so I just finished round 5, and round 5 was the last row where I'm doing any increase stitches. So now from row 6 all the way up to round 19. So from round 6 to round 19, I'm just going to be doing 1 single crochet stitch into every single stitch in the round. So these rows are rounds. So these rounds are like pretty easy to do since I can just like zone out while I crochet them. Since there are no increases, no decreases, just 1 single crochet in each stitch over and over and over again. So yeah. I'm going to crochet these rounds off camera since they are just really straightforward. I don't feel like it's anything exciting that needs to be talked about. Okay, so I just finished crocheting all of my single crochet rows, but I'm pretty sure I gave the wrong amount of rows in the last clip. I'm pretty sure I said from row 6 to row 19. It was just single crochet rows, but after looking back at my first pickle, I realized that it's actually from row 6 to row 24. Yeah, anyways, I just finished crocheting my 24th row. So now I have reached the point where I'm going to start the decrease rows. So for row 25, I'm going to crochet 3 single crochet stitches and 1 decrease, a total of 6 times in the round. Also, another thing that I realized when I looked at my first pickle that I crocheted is I realized that this one is slightly bigger than what I'm currently making, and I'm pretty sure it's because I'm using a smaller hook. And I didn't mean to. I wanted to use the same size hook that I used for the first pickle, but I never wrote down what I used for the first pickle. So when I chose the 2.5mm hook, I was pretty sure it's the one that I used the first time around, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it's not because this one is smaller than the first pickle here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that would mean that I used a 3mm size hook for the first pickle because I'm using a 2.5mm hook right now. So my guess is that I used a 3mm hook for this one. and they both work up nicely. So both size hooks do work with this size of yarn, but I think I would recommend using the 3mm hook because I'm noticing that this one that I'm crocheting right now is a little bit more difficult to crochet because the hook is smaller. It's just a little, everything's just extra tight, and so it makes it a little bit more difficult to crochet. So, and I do remember this one being a little bit more enjoyable to crochet since the hook was slightly bigger. If you're using the same size yarn that I'm using, I would recommend using a 3mm size hook instead of the 2.5mm that I'm using right now. Okay, so I just finished round 25, so now I'm going to be doing round 26, and for round 26 I'm going to be crocheting 2 single crochet stitches, 1 decrease, a total of 6 times in the round. Okay, so just finished round 26. I think that would make it 26. And as you can see, it's starting to get a little rounded here, and we're slowly getting this hole to be a little smaller. So we have just a few more rows left to do. So now for row 27, I'm going to crochet 1 single crochet stitch, then 1 decrease, a total of 6 times in the round. Actually, before I complete round 27, I'm just going to add this little stem here. And I always forget to do this part beforehand, but if you haven't started making your pickle yet, then I would suggest making this little stem part that we're about to do right now before making the entire pickle. But if you are making this pickle at the same time as I'm making it, then don't worry. What I do is just pull a lot of extra yarn and then I cut it, because I need the same green yarn that I'm currently using for the body to make the little stem here. So I just have to cut my yarn so I could start using it for making the stem. But I only have like 2 more rows left of the body, so I just cut my yarn so I still have like a lot of yarn left to crochet the next 2 rows with. So yeah, I'm just gonna put this aside before I finish crocheting it. So for this stem, I'm going to make a chain of 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm going to turn and insert my hook into the second chain from the hook, and then I'm going to slip stitch. And then I'm going to do the same thing into the next stitch. I'm going to slip stitch. And again. So pretty much just slip stitch into down the entire chain. So a total of 4 slip stitches. So super easy to do. And then once I've done that, I just cut my yarn, fasten off. And now I have a little stem. Also, just want to note before we do the stem here, when you're making your stem, you want to make sure you have a long starting tail and you leave yourself a long end tail so that you can use both of these little tails here to sew this little stem here onto your pickle. So the reason that I stopped crocheting my pickle where I did is because I wanted to leave still like an opening at the bottom here while I add the stem onto the top of the pickle. So the reason for that is that I'm going to be using these 2 tail pieces of yarn to tie a knot onto the pickle, and that's how I'm going to attach it onto the head. That's just my preferred method of sewing this little stem onto the pickle, but you don't have to do it this way. You could just finish making this pickle and then make the stem afterwards and then just sew on the stem however you prefer. But I like to just do it this way instead. Okay, so I'm taking my darning needle and I'm going to thread one of the ends of my stem through the darning needle. Then I'm just going to insert it pretty much in the center, the top of the head, and then I'm going to pull the darning needle all the way through the pickle and out the open end here. Then I'm just leaving one of the tails of the stem out through the other end of the pickle, and then I'm taking the other tail of the stem threading it through my darning needle.
And then I'm also going to insert it into the center of the pickle right here. And then I'm pulling the darning needle out through the other side. This is what the stem's looking like so far. So now with both ends of the stem, like on the inside of the pickle here, I'm going to tie a knot, and that is how the stem is going to stay on the pickle. And I prefer it this way because if I were to sew the stem onto the pickle afterwards, I would have to tie a knot somewhere like next to the stem, and you'd probably be able to see the knot, and I just don't really love that look. So now I'm just going to find both of my little tails here that are connected to the stem, and I can make sure of that by pulling out the stem here and then pulling the two tails. That's how I know. So now I'm going to tie my two tails of the stem. I'm gonna just tie them together, a regular knot. So you just tied a little knot here, and then I actually just pressed the top of the pickle through, like try to turn it inside out, but not actually turning it inside out, so that like the base of where the two stems are coming from is closer to the surface. If that all makes sense, I don't know. And then tie my knot there. What I'm showing you how to do right now is all just personal preference for me. You don't have to do it this way. Whatever way you choose to do it will work. So yeah. Okay. Alright, so once I tie my knot, just cut all my tails. And then pop the pickle right side out again. It's already right side out, it's just a little like, I don't know how to describe it. This is a little stem, it's almost there. There we go. There's a stem. It's so cute. Okay, so now that I've added the stem, we are going to resume back to, I think we were on row 7. No, sorry, row 27, duh. Which is 1 single crochet, 1 decrease. I've already started this row, so I'm just gonna complete it, and then we're gonna do row 28. Okay, so I'm actually just halfway through row 27. Still haven't completed it yet, but I just realized that I should probably stuff the pickle at this point since the opening is getting smaller, and I don't want to add the stuffing when my opening is too small. Just gonna add some stuffing in here, just like this. Okay, so I just finished round 27, so now I'm gonna start round 28, which is the last round of this pickle. So for round 28, I am just going to decrease all around. So a total of 6 decreases, and this will be the last row, and then this tiny little hole at the bottom here will be closed. Okay, so I just finished stuffing the pickle, and this is what it's looking like. Honestly, I'm noticing like a few little lumps. I don't know if you can notice. Honestly, I think I'm just being very nitpicky, but I'm noticing it a lot more than I noticed it with this pickle. So I think that the tighter it is, when you add the stuffing, you can almost like see where the little like lumps of stuffing are, but if it's not as tight, it's like, I don't know, more seamless. So what I'm saying is I definitely think this pickle is superior to this pickle, but that's okay. Hopefully you guys can learn from my mistakes and make it with the proper size hook. So anyways, I'm just gonna finish this last row here. Okay, so I just finished the last round. So round 28, so now I'm just gonna cut my yarn, fasten off. Now I still have this tiny little hole at the bottom here, so now I'm just going to, I have threaded my tail yarn through my darning needle here, and now I'm just going to weave my needle through the outer loop of every stitch of round 28. Oops. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. So just like this, all the way around. And once I've weaved myself all the way around, I'm just going to, let's see if I can get this on camera. Pull, no I can't. You just pull really tight until the hole closes like this. And then tie a knot. And now that I've tied my knot, I'm just gonna weave in my end here and just pop it out through one of the sides. Still like a little nub at the bottom here, but it's fine. I'm pretty sure that sometimes there's actually like little nubs at the bottom of pickles. So let's just pretend that this little nub here is intentional. Okay, now I just need my scissors. I'm gonna cut this yarn, and this is the shape of the pickle. And now I'm just gonna compare it to my first pickle here. So this is the difference in size. So this one was made using a 3mm hook, and this one was made using a 2.5mm hook. So they both work, but one's just slightly bigger than the other. Okay, but I actually have to take a little break from making this pickle right now because I actually have to go and drop off this little pickle to the person that it's for. And I have to go and do that right now. So this is the last time you're gonna be seeing this little pickle, so I won't be able to compare like the finished results of what I'm making right now with the first pickle that I made. But let's just take a last final look at this adorable little pickle. Okay, so it's currently the next day, and now that I've finished crocheting like the shape of the pickle, I'm now going to start adding the detail onto the pickle, such as like the eyes, the little mouth, the eyebrows, and then I'm also gonna add some little bumps throughout, like all over the pickle. And yeah, oh, and then I have to also add the arms, which I'm gonna do after I add all the details on, I think, but you can add them at any point in time, whenever you prefer. So I'm going to start by adding the eyes, and what I like to use for eyes lately are these little glass beads here. I just bought them off of Amazon and I really like the look of them, so that's what I've just been using lately. But these are the biggest size that I have, so I can only really use these when I make smaller amigurumis. I can't use them when I make big ones. So I have my two little eyes here. This is what they look like, and I'm just gonna poke them into the pickle, and I'm gonna add them on between round 8 and round 9. So I literally just poke it into its face, and that's it. So I'm placing the eyes so that there's 3 little stitch holes between both eyes. Yeah, super easy. Once I've finished adding everything, I'm going to actually glue them onto the head, but they stay on pretty well without any glue, so I'm not gonna glue them yet, but I'm gonna glue them once I've added all the detail on at the end. I think what I'm gonna do next is, I think I'm gonna start adding the bumps, the little, I don't know what they would technically be called, but the little bumps on the pickle. I'm just gonna add that. So I'm just gonna use the same yarn that I used for crocheting the pickle. And I'm going to take a darning needle here, and then I'm just going to embroider the little bumps onto the pickle. So for each bump, I like to embroider about, I think on the last pickle I did 4 loops for each bump. So I'm starting by inserting my hook from the bottom here, and then I'm just going to exit my hook wherever I want to place my little bump. So I'm just gonna embroider 4 loops in the same spot. And this is the 3rd time. So this is the last loop for the bump. So now I have my first bump done, and now I'm just gonna add a bunch more all over the pickle, just kind of adding them on randomly Okay, so far I have embroidered 7 little bumps on the pickle, but at this point in time, I have now ran out of the yarn that I was using to embroider. So I just kind of worked my way up, creating some bumps, and then came back down, and perfect timing because this is the amount of yarn I had left to embroider with. So what I did is when I made my last bump here, I brought my yarn out through the same hole that I first inserted my embroidering yarn through. So now the starting tail and the end tail are coming out of the same hole. And what I do is I just tie a regular knot. Nice and tight. And then I thread both ends through a darning needle. And then I insert my needle through the same hole that both my ends are coming out of. So just like that, if you can see. And then I just exit out through a random stitch. This is always so tricky. There we go. And then just pull it nice and tight. And then when you pull it all the way through, you pull the knot right through and you don't see anything. And then I just cut these little ends here. So I'm just gonna get another piece of yarn here and I'm just gonna continue embroidering the rest of my bumps on the pickle, and then I will come back once I have finished embroidering all the bumps. Okay, so I finished adding all the bumps on the pickle. This is what it looks like. And now I'm going to make the arms. So for the arms, I'm going to crochet a chain of 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I'm going to single crochet down the chain. So a total of 5 single crochet stitches. Okay, and then I'm gonna cut my yarn. So this is what the arm looks like. So I'm gonna make 2 of these, so I'm gonna make a second one now. Okay, so I have both the little arms completed. So my last pickle, I added the arms so that they went inwards like this. But this time around, I kinda wanna add the arms so that they are on the side like this. So yeah, it's totally up to you how you wanna place the arms, but I think for this pickle, I'm going to add them so they're like, the arms are on its side. I think that's gonna look really cute. Okay, so I am adding both my arms between round 13 and round 14. And I am sewing the arms on and tying the knot the same way that I did when making the bumps. Like when I just tied a knot with the 2 strands at the bottom here and then pulled out the knot in a way that made it invisible. So yeah, I'm doing the same thing. I'm doing the same thing with the arms. I have added both the arms, but I haven't tied the knots yet, so I just have the 2 strands here. I'm just gonna tie my knots. Okay, so I just finished adding the arms. It's so cute. I actually love how it looks with the arms like this at its side. Okay, so now all I have left to do is add the detail for the face. So I'm gonna embroider some little white lines here at the bottom / side of the eyes to kind of add some character to the eyes, and then maybe embroider some eyebrows. And yeah, I think that's it. And then after that, I will be done the pickle. Okay, so I'm gonna embroider the eyebrows first because I already have my green yarn here with me. So I'm just gonna cut a strand of green yarn. And I wanna embroider the eyebrows so that they are angling upwards to make it look extra cute. Okay, so here goes the first eyebrow. And this is where I placed it. Okay, here goes the second brow. Perfect. Look at those brows. It adds so much character to it. Okay, so now that I've done the brows, I grab my white yarn here. I'm gonna cut a strand of it, and I'm going to embroider the whites of the eyes. So I'm just doing the first eye here. Okay, and this is what it looks like. And now I have to glue the eyes, but I'm gonna do that in a second because I have one more thing left to embroider, and I almost forgot about it, but I have to embroider a little mouth
on the pickle, which adds like so much character. So I'm just gonna cut a little strand of black yarn and embroider a little curved line for the little half smile.
Okay, and here comes the little smile. Here we go. And then I just kind of play around with it and just kind of pick at it to make it look rounded and curved like that. And there we go.
I think it looks good. I always second guess whether or not I like the finished results, but I think it's good. Yeah. Little pickle with a cute little face. So cute. I like it. Yeah, it's so funny because I was really doubting it once I realized that I was crocheting it with a smaller hook and it was like a different size. Then I started doubting whether it would look good or not. And I thought, I was starting to think that it was like really lumpy and that it was looking weird. But now that I've added all the detail and I've completely finished it, I really like how it looks. It's so cute. I have a hard time trusting the process, and I need to learn to trust the process because I always, you know, surprise myself. Just looking for my scissors here. Just realized I still have to weave in these ends here. So now for the last step, I just need to glue the eyes onto the head because right now they're just kind of like just poked in here, but they can come out if I play around with them. So I'm going to use fabric glue to glue the little glass eyes onto the pickle so they don't fall out. Okay, so what I do is I just shook the glue, and then now I just kind of put the pin into the end of the glue, and I just squeeze a little bit of glue onto the eye. I don't know if you saw that, but yeah, just a little bit of glue, and then I just stick it back. Oh no! The glue is still on there. Okay, so you just stick it on. There we go. Perfect. Nice. Yay! Now it's all done. Just gotta put the lid back on my glue. And there we have it. The pickle's done. How cute is this? I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. I had so much fun filming it and making this little pickle, and hopefully you guys are able to follow the instructions and make your own little pickles because they're so cute and I think everyone should make one. But yeah, that's all I have for this video, so I'm gonna end it here. But thank you guys so much for watching, and hopefully I will see you in the next video. So bye!